There is a place in the heart of the great ocean. It is a nation made of sand and coral. These are the islands of Kiribati. They are scattered like jewels across the vast blue water. But something is happening here, something that challenges the very idea of land. The islands are breathing. With every tide, they seem to get a little smaller, a little closer to the water's edge. This is a story of a paradise on the brink, a place where the line between the sea and the shore is starting to blur. Imagine a land so flat you can see the curve of the earth. Coconut palms lean towards the endless water. Their leaves rustle in the gentle sea breeze. The sand is brilliant white, soft as powder. It stretches for miles, meeting a turquoise lagoon. The water is so clear you can see the shadows of clouds drifting above. This is a world of immense beauty, a quiet, peaceful place that feels untouched by the outside world. But the ocean that surrounds it is both its lifeblood and its greatest threat. Here, life is lived by the rhythm of the tides. The ocean provides everything. It is a road, a market, and a playground. People build their homes on stilts, just above the high water mark. They watch the sea with a deep understanding. They know its moods, its gifts, and its dangers. For generations, this has been a perfect balance, a partnership between humanity and nature. But now that ancient balance is being tested. The water is rising in ways no one has seen before. The land itself feels temporary, fragile. It is a collection of low-lying atolls. Some are no wider than a small road. On one side, the calm, protected lagoon. On the other, the powerful, open ocean. It is a delicate existence, a life lived on a sliver of earth between two powerful forces of water. The people of Kiribati are islanders in the truest sense. Their entire world is shaped by the sea. And now the sea is reshaping their world in a way that feels final. Beneath the surface of the shimmering water lies another world, a world of incredible color and life. Coral reefs explode in a riot of shapes and forms. They are the cities of the sea. They provide shelter for countless creatures. Giant clams rest on the sandy bottom, their mantles displaying patterns of electric blue and green. Schools of tiny silver fish move as one. They flash and turn in the sunlight, like a single, living organism. This is the engine of life for the islands above. The richness of this marine world is astonishing. Majestic manta rays glide through the water with effortless grace. Their giant wings carry them through the currents. They are gentle giants, feeding on tiny plankton. Sea turtles, ancient mariners of the ocean, swim slowly through the seagrass beds. They have been returning to these shores for longer than human memory. Every creature here plays a part in a complex web of life, a delicate system that has thrived for millennia in this remote corner of the planet. Even the smaller inhabitants are vital. Colorful parrotfish crunch on coral, their beaks helping to create the fine white sand that forms the beaches. Curious crabs scuttle sideways across the reef flats, their eyes on stalks. In the shallows, juvenile sharks learn to hunt, safe from the larger predators of the deep. It is a nursery for the ocean, a place of birth and renewal. The health of this underwater kingdom is directly linked to the survival of the islands themselves. The sky above is just as full of life. Seabirds travel thousands of miles to nest on these remote atolls. Their calls fill the air at dawn and dusk. Frigate birds soar high above, their huge wingspans catching the thermal currents. They are masters of the air, sometimes stealing a meal from other birds. Terns dive into the water with incredible speed and precision, catching small fish to feed their young. The sky and the sea are connected in a dance of survival. The people of Kiribati, the Kiribati, are deeply connected to this place. Their culture is woven from the sea, the sky, and the sand. They are navigators, fishermen, and storytellers. Their knowledge of the ocean is immense. They can read the stars, the currents, and the flight of birds to find their way across the vast expanse of water. This is not just a skill, it is a part of their identity, a legacy passed down through generations of islanders who have called this ocean home. Daily life is simple and resourceful. It moves at the pace of nature. Men set out in small outrigger canoes at dawn. They use traditional fishing methods that have sustained their families for centuries. Women weave incredible mats and baskets from pandanus leaves. Their hands move with a practiced, graceful rhythm. Children laugh and play in the shallow waters of the lagoon. Their connection to the ocean begins at birth. It is their backyard, their school, and their future. Community is at the heart of Kiribati culture. Everything is shared. A successful catch is shared with neighbors. Homes, known as maniabas, are open meeting places where the community gathers. Here they celebrate, make decisions, and tell the stories that hold their history. There is a powerful sense of belonging, a strength that comes from facing the challenges of island life together. This bond is more important now than ever before. Their smiles are warm and welcoming. Their spirit is resilient. Despite the uncertainty that hangs in the air, there is joy here. There is music and dancing. There is a deep and abiding love for their land. They are not victims. They are a proud people with a rich heritage. They are the keepers of these atolls. They are watching the changes with a quiet dignity, holding on to the culture that has always given them strength in a world that is constantly in motion. But there is a growing unease, a whisper on the wind that speaks of change. The old ways of reading the weather are becoming less reliable. The seasons feel different now. The rains come at the wrong time, or sometimes not at all. The fishermen, they notice subtle shifts in the currents. The fish are not always where they are expected to be. These are small signs, sure, but for a people who live so close to nature, these small signs are like a quiet alarm bell. The land itself is telling a story. The coconut palms, which are the source of so much life here, are struggling. Salt water is seeping into the ground from below. It poisons the fresh water lens, that precious layer of drinkable water floating on top of denser salt water. This invisible invasion is killing the trees from the roots up. Wells that once provided fresh water now taste of the sea. The very ground they stand on is being betrayed by the ocean. The high tides seem higher than ever before. They are called king tides. They wash over the islands with a new and honestly frightening power. They flood homes and roads. They sweep away parts of the shoreline. They leave behind a layer of salt that damages the soil where people grow their food. What was once a rare event is becoming more common. Each king tide is a rehearsal, a glimpse into a future where the sea does not retreat. There is a mystery to this change. It is a force without a face. It is not a storm that can be weathered. It is not an enemy that can be fought. It is a slow, quiet, and relentless advance. The ocean, which has always been a friend, is beginning to feel like a stranger, a powerful and unpredictable force that is slowly claiming the land. The people watch and wait, caught between the world they have always known and a future that is becoming harder to imagine. Listen closely. You can hear it. The sound of Kiribati is changing. The gentle lapping of waves on the shore is still there, but now it is often mixed with a more urgent sound. The sound of waves crashing against seawalls built from coral rocks and sandbags. These are the desperate defenses of a people trying to hold back the ocean. The sound of each wave is a reminder of the constant pressure, the relentless push of the sea against the land. The sound of the wind through the palm trees is different too. It carries a note of sorrow. It rustles through the leaves of trees that are brown and dying. It blows across patches of land that are now barren and salty. The cheerful sounds of village life continue. Children still laugh, and music still plays. But underneath it all, there is a new quietness, the unspoken worry that hangs in the air. The sound of a community holding its breath. At night, the sounds become more pronounced. The tide creeps in, higher and closer than before. The water laps at the stilts of homes. For those sleeping inside, it is the sound of their world shrinking. It is a constant, watery presence. It seeps into dreams. It shapes their thoughts when they are awake. How can you sleep soundly when the ocean is knocking at your door, not as a visitor, but as a permanent resident? And then there is the sound of the stories. The elders speak of a time when the islands were wider, when the beaches stretched further. Their voices are filled with a mix of nostalgia and concern. They are trying to pass on their knowledge, their culture, their identity, but they are also telling a new story, a story without a clear ending. The story of a people facing the possibility of losing their homeland. The sound of their voices is the sound of a legacy at risk. What is at stake here is more than just land. It is a culture, a language, a unique way of seeing the world. The Kiribati have a word, Tamori. It means health, spirit, and a sense of life force. It is the essence of who they are. What happens to a people's spirit when their land disappears? What happens to their stories when the places they are about are swallowed by the sea? This is the profound question that Kiribati asks of the world. The fate of these islands is a message, a warning written in sand and carried on the tide. It is a story about all of us, about our connection to the planet and the consequences of our actions. The rising water in this remote ocean is a reflection of a world out of balance. Kiribati is on the front line of a global challenge. Their struggle is a quiet but powerful call to attention, a plea to see what is happening before it is too late. To watch the sunset over a Kiribati lagoon is to witness something truly magical. The sky turns to fire, and the water becomes a mirror of liquid gold. In these moments of perfect beauty, it is hard to believe that this place could ever vanish. But the beauty is fragile. The paradise is temporary. It exists on a knife's edge between creation and destruction. It is a powerful reminder that nothing, not even the land beneath our feet, can be taken for granted. As the last light fades and the stars begin to appear in the immense Pacific sky, a final thought remains. The story of Kiribati is not yet over. The spirit of its people is strong. Their legacy is not just written in the sand, but in their resilience, their culture, and their deep connection to the ocean. Their future is uncertain, but their message is clear. It travels across the waves, asking us to look, to listen, and to understand before the tide comes in for the last time.